And I, as a kid, used to say, well, why don't I, have these same type of experiences? Why isn't Swami appearing in my dreams? And why isn't Swami, sending me messages like this? And, I had to learn maybe in my teenage years. It's just amazing how we just have to believe that he can and he will um, help us and he will guide us and it will all be okay.
Sairam, dear listeners, welcome to Sai SOUL 100. Our guest today is Sister Paveena Rewah, who is joining us from South Ozone Park, New York. Sairam, Sister Paveena, thank you for joining Sai SOUL 100.
Sairam, thank you for having me.
Sairam, please share your story.
Sairam, thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. I started singing bhajans since I was 3 years old, introduced by my dad, who is just a lover of music. And he kind of stumbled upon Swami. He got attracted to Swami's teachings through the Swami newsletter, Satyasai Sarati, I believe, back in the 1980s. He had a series of events that happened in his life, and it was as if Swami was pulling him closer and closer to him. And my dad just started off with reading some local newsletters that he was getting sent. And he was on a journey of understanding where these newsletters were coming from. And it just so happened that he found a Sai center in our village in Guyana that he made contact with the person there. And he went and immediately fell in love with bhajans. And his journey is very unique because my dad had an epiphany moment where he feels very strongly that Swami was telling him, this is what you need to do. So after reading articles about him and learning about his teachings and feeling very connected, he finally had his first dream. And in his first dream, he felt like Swami was telling him, you need to change your life. And not even telling him, but just in the dream, subtly saying, this is what needs to happen. And my dad came out of that, leaving and making life changes to become a better person. So he gave up smoking and drinking and even eating meat, and became a vegetarian when I was 3 years old. And he was so dedicated and committed to this. And I think really that dedication and that commitment really showed me how Swami really does work in such a mysterious way, because it's not really us doing anything. All we had to do was have this interest and continue and trust. But Swami really did guide him. And I think it's such a big impact in my life, because I think back, if those things had not happened, I wouldn't have been the person I am and been in the organization and been as involved as I am and we have been as a family. And I've always been a part of Bhajans Center and the SSC program. I am so blessed and so happy and so grateful that I can now share this with my two children, my boys. And it's led me to understanding Swami's influence in my life today. When I was 7 years old, we had some friends go to India and we couldn't go, our family couldn't go. And I remember thinking, Swami, when am I going to go to India? I want to go to India too. And at the time, I was thinking of all of these things that I would get from India. And I remember having my first dream of Swami. And it was in our apartment. I was walking into the kitchen when I woke up from the morning, when I woke up, and Swami was there by the window. And he said to me, "What would you like?" And I immediately knew what he meant by that. He meant, "What do you want from India?" And I don't know what I said. I don't remember really what I said, but I know that in the dream, he gave me something. And I, a 7-year old, was so happy. And it was as if he just knew that I needed this in this moment. And this was my first dream of Swami. This was my first experience. Something very interesting is that my dad is a Swami devotee for many years, as I've said. And he's had many, many dreams of Swami and many, many experiences. And I, as a kid, used to say, well, why don't I, have these same type of experiences? Why isn't Swami appearing in my dreams? And why isn't Swami, sending me messages like this? And, I had to learn maybe in my teenage years that it's okay that it's not like that, because he does reassure me and he does guide me. One experience of how Swami has guided me is that prior to becoming an SSC teacher, I didn't think that I had any interest, and I honestly didn't have any confidence in myself that I could do that. And a member of the center did approach me and say, "Hey, what do you think? Do you want to be involved in SSC teachers training? We're having someone come all the way to South Ozone Park to train 30 of us." I was about 17, 18 years old. And I said, "I don't know. I don't think so." Initially, that was my response. And so I thought about it. I told my dad, and he was like, "Yeah, why don't you do it?" And it was a complete, at the time, I thought it was a complete coincidence, just random. And I said yes to the uncle. And I said, "Okay, sure. I like kids. Sure, no problem. I'll I'll show up. I'll be there." It was a 2-day commitment for the SSE teachers training. I remember some regional officers coming and delivering that session. Now, went through that, and that sort of started my journey into SSE, and I've been an SSE teacher and guru ever since. Um, I say this because I've never been able to let go or walk away from SSE, and I think it's because Swami still wants me to be here. And I do consider myself a lifelong SSE student, and so I'm very grateful for that opportunity. And I continue to learn and develop and grow, and it just makes me very happy to spend time with young Sai students. During this time, I've been able to grow as a person, even as I've been saying, not even knowing it. So SSE, when I was an SSE student and then becoming an SSE guru, has just allowed me to become more confident, work on presentation skills, allowed me to really take on roles which I didn't have the confidence to do in the past. And so I do attribute Swami and the organization for allowing me to step into places and rooms that I didn't originally think I would. And even just on a practical note, um, even those who I've been around have influenced and guided me and continue to do that. Another example is when I became an SSE teacher after a couple of lessons with my mentor, my long-term mentor in SSE and Sai spiritual education. He kind of said, "Okay, you've done a couple of lessons now. You're okay to teach class. Do your lessons and go out there and start doing it. And I remember thinking, wow, he has so much confidence in me, and I can't let him down. And I also thought I'm now chosen to be an SSE guru. Like I used to talk to Swami all the time and be like, please help me do this because I don't know what I'm doing. And in a lot of ways, because I was a young person, I was not even a parent. And I was kind of like questioning how I would speak to parents because I'm not a parent. And so even things like that, I would just say to Swami, please help me, come across and talk to parents and be that person for the SSC students, help me and guide me with my lesson plans. I remember making lesson plans and thinking about lesson plans all week long. And then finally sitting down and writing the lesson and putting it together. I had so much fun where we would have lesson planning parties with our SSE team. And those were things that just Swami guided me and made everything so possible and so easy. As I was becoming more and more involved in the SSE program, I was learning things that I didn't even think about, like speaking to students, speaking to parents, developing coaching and developing how I speak. And Swami just in the back of my mind saying, you must always be loving. You treat the students this way. You treat the parents this way. I had sort of him guiding me for everything because I would just speak to him and say, what do you want me to do here? Um, and just allow him to help me with those next moves and understand how to be a good SSE guru because that's all I wanted. I wanted to be a good SSE guru that my students and, parents would come to and feel connected in the Sai organization. And that's what I still want.
Yes, yes. Sairam sister, actually, just to add to that, being a guru, we think that we are preparing everything to benefit the students. But like you mentioned, the whole week you'll be thinking about the lesson plan. That is actually your own purifying process. It's your growth. The SSC gurus are equally growing because of all the um, search for the content, practicing of the content, because you really don't want to be teaching something that you're not practicing yourself. So all of
Right.
that's going on. So the transformation is also happening for the gurus. So it truly is a beautiful opportunity that Swami has given us through becoming SSE gurus. And that's open to anybody. Anybody who wants to be an SSE guru can be a SSE guru. All they have to do is go through the training. All the information and knowledge all the information will be shared with them on the practical sense. And then Swami comes through for the rest of it.
And that's really a wonderful experience in itself because it's looking back now, I can say with confidence and, with this conviction that I know that Swami has worked in my life to set so many things up and to really lead me to everything. And even the things that don't go as planned, um, went along with his plan. Um, when I was ready to sort of make a change in SSE, this was right before we came out of the pandemic. We are a small, very small center. We didn't have many students, and we went fully online during the pandemic. And I was sort of conflicted about the SSE program in general at our center because what was happening is that we didn't have many SSE students. And then Uncle Uncle Chaitan approached me and he said, "Hey, you have a fully functioning SSE program." And he said to me, "How about we work together and we make it an online SSE program for the region?" And I was like, this is so strange. And I said, I'm really not sure. Let's give it a try. Um, and we'll see what happens. We'll revisit it and we'll talk about it in the next couple of months. And we actually went into that all kind of saying, okay, yes, we're going to be on board. And today we have a regional online SSE program for about 27 students. And what's also unique is that we feel very connected to our students, although we don't see them in person. So I have students that are in Virginia, in North Carolina, South Carolina, New Jersey, New York. I have a student in Canada. And it's truly amazing how Swami has connected us and continues to connect us, because just 2 days ago, I had a message from a parent saying, "Hey, I'm interested in online SSE." So, Swami's guidance is always there and his presence is always there. And once we accept it, he just does everything. And even the parents, they've just come on board because they believe in this program, they believe in us. They've only met us maybe once or twice on a Zoom call, but it's wonderful to be able to have that. And that is a wonderful, wonderful experience.
Sairam, Sister Paveena, thank you so much for sharing your story. In fact, you mentioned that you did have a dream of Swami, which was when you were 7 years old. In that, Swami is asking, "What do you want?" I almost feel like he's asking, "What do you want?" Because if you actually ask him what you want, he will give it to you. When you are teaching, you said group 1, you wanted guru, Swami. We need guru. Swami gives them to you, right? You ask, what is it next for our program? Swami gives you the direction. So you ask and he will give, but genuinely ask for the betterment of everybody, then he will give, right? Selflessly asking. So, and also you mentioned that you don't necessarily have to have dreams. You don't necessarily have to have seen Swami. But all you have to do is to be invested and trust that Swami is there with you, right? You said,
yes, absolutely.
Just feel his presence and he will show up. He will manifest himself and he will guide you. And he has been doing so in his unique way for you. Ever since you were 3 years old, and nurturing you and guiding you, and even at the tender age of 17 years old, to be asked to be to be trained to be an SSE guru, and then to become an SSE guru at such a young age is truly a blessing. And I think it's a calling. And I'm very grateful to Swami that he's actually guiding you in that manner. And although you are not seeing the students physically, you are making a long-term impression on these children, and that is that is truly Swami's blessings and his gift for all of us. That all that matters is that these children are directed in the right way and nurtured to have values of Swami and to live a wonderful, comfortable, deeply spiritually connected life. Right. And such a tender age that you get to make those impressions in their lives. So it's so beautiful. Thank you so much for coming to Sai Soul 100 and sharing your story.
Thank you so much. It was a wonderful afternoon speaking with you.
Sairam.
Sairam.
Sairam, dear listeners. Thank you for listening to Sai Soul 100 with Sister Paveena Rewah. I'm Prabha Swaminathan. Until next time, Jai Sairam.